So honestly, when I got the opportunity to participate in this whole brain mapping exercise, I was pretty excited, because it's a very new concept, trying to understand and decipher the impulses and reactions through your brain waves, and trying to correlate that with your behavioral pattern. That was a pretty unique concept to me. I was intrigued, I was curious, and honestly I was looking forward to getting to know something new about myself, what could be the aha factor. So all in all, I was very excited when I got to know about the opportunity. So I think, when you look about the whole program and the test, there were two very distinctive things that came out. Number one, there are a set of hypotheses which you already know about yourself, and it just gets corroborated from the data that you start interpreting and the reactions that you see through the course of the analysis. That is one part. The second is where you actually get to know something new about yourself, which you probably didn't anticipate to come out of the test. So in the first bucket, I would put things like, it talked about that I tend to do a lot of parallel processing. Whenever I'm in set of meetings, I tend to zone out, and I tend to focus on many things as a part of my fragmented mind, right? And that could come out very starkly from the data that we interpreted. For whatever it's worth, it isn't good. And the good part is that it also helps you understand what can be done to tone it down, right? The second thing which came out in the same bucket was that I'm very low on creative ideas. I know that about myself. Then it talked about how do you actually increase your creative lens, what do you need to do with your hands, with your moving the different sensory organs, what do you work upon to actually improve your creativity. In the second bucket, I would put one very good example where it talked about that there is a chronic pain that I'm going through in various parts of my soft muscle tissue, right? And that is directly correlated to the stress and anxiety levels which are suppressed over a long period of time, right? So while I like to believe that I am not as anxious and as stressful as I would like to believe, however, the data showed that there is an underlying factor of stress and anxiety which is leading to some of those chronic pains which have been manifested over like last 5 to 6 years. So that was actually good to know and good to understand. I think, as I said, there are two very different buckets of activities or inferences which came out of the whole exercise. One thing which really got reinforced was the whole angle around how do you tone down your ability to do parallel processing, right? Or rather, how do you tone down your inability to focus on one thing at any given point in time. So what needs to be done at the root cause to be able to address that? I think that was a very good discussion, and I genuinely look forward to working on that and taking it forward. I think the second part, which I would also take a bit more seriously, is how do you actually control your underlying root causes to anxieties and stress levels in long term, because honestly that has shown some correlation to manifestation in terms of physical pain, right? So it'll be good to see how I can put a bit more cap on maintaining those stress levels in the long term. So these are the two big things that I would really take away from the data that I looked at and the interpretation that went through during the course of the analysis.